So I just came back from Jamaica about a week ago and I was very inspired to make some Jamaican oxtail. As you can see, these oxtail were so tender, so delicious, and here's how I made it. First, I started by cutting one sweet yellow onion. I then cut up one whole bunch of green onion. Next, I cut up a whole green bell pepper. I then chopped up 2 whole carrots into bite-sized pieces. Last but not least, I cut up a habanero pepper. It's honestly best to use gloves for this because these are very hot and if you touch your eye, they will definitely burn. I set my veggies aside and then I started to clean my oxtail with lime and water. These oxtail were very big, as you can see. I got these from my local butcher shop. I then seasoned my meat with some Worcestershire sauce. I used about a 1/3 cup of browning along with some brown sugar. I also added in a little bit of soy sauce, which I forgot to record. I seasoned with some garlic powder, onion powder, some salt and pepper. Once my seasoning were added, I then added in all of my veggies. I added in a thyme sprig, 5 allspice berries, and I gave that a nice mix. I didn't let my meat marinate too long, but of course the longer the better. Feel free to let it marinate overnight. To a cast iron skillet, I added my olive oil and I added my oxtails. I'm just going to sear them really good on all sides. Get that nice crispy brown color. You can do this in batches if needed. I had to do mine in batches. All of my oxtails would not fit in a cast iron skillet. They were so big. I cooked them for about 4 minutes on each side, then I set them aside. To a larger pot, I added in my veggies. I let them saute for a little bit and then I added in some ginger. It's best to use fresh ginger. I also added in garlic. I let it saute for about 6 to 8 minutes until my veggies were tender. I then added in about 3 cups of beef broth. I brought that to a simmer, then I added in my oxtail. You want to make sure you're using a big enough pot so all of your oxtail can fit in the pot. I then added in about 2 more cups of beef broth and I let that cook over medium heat with the lid on. About an hour after my oxtail were cooking, I then took the lid off and I gave them a nice stir so they don't stick to the pan. It took about a total of 3 hours to make these oxtail. I added a cup of boiling water every hour because I wanted extra gravy. After the 3rd hour, once my oxtail were tender, I then added a little ketchup along with a small can of butter beans. I then let my oxtail cook for an additional 15 to 20 minutes and y'all, when I tell you this oxtail was so amazing, so tender, so flavorful, so delicious. Y'all see that? Look how good that looks. I also made some rice and peas to go with my oxtail. Let me know in the comments if you want the recipe to that.